Active Now provides a comprehensive inventory tracking solution for medications. Medications can be tracked in two stores. One store is in use, and that is the store that will be depleted every time medication is administered. And there is another store called Overstock that can be physically set aside, or it's put in a different bottle. It's the backup medications that are not drawn from when medications are administered. Overstock is not a required store. But the total of in-use plus overstock equals your total inventory on hand. So if I tell the system that I want to start tracking Zyrtec as an example, what I will do, note these three are already being tracked. These two have counts because they have a little shading area. This one doesn't have any counts. But if I wanted to track Zyrtec, I would edit it. I will select track inventory, and then I will put in what my reorder point is, and I'm going to say if I ever get below 15, I want to order medications, and the system will generate a low notice in the late charting reminders. I will also say that this probably should say 1 tablet by mouth daily, or 1 tablet, but the dose is 1 tablet, okay? If the dose for this medication was 2 tablets, I'd put in a 2. If it was drops, 1 in the right eye, 1 in the left eye, the dose would be 2. If I gave 2 pills at 8 a.m. and 1 pill at 9 p.m., as you know, you would end up with 2 records to schedule it. You will need to have 2 stores of inventory, one for the store that is being given 2 pills and one for the store that is being given 1 pill, so that you can track it and the system can keep track of the counts for each of those stores. That might not make a lot of sense right now, but the dose needs to match the dose in the detail instructions. That's the point. So I'm going to say I want to track inventory for this item. So I've done that. The next step then would be to go down to this Zyrtec. See, I've got this count icon now, and say, I want you to count this as it's administered. So when I administer it, I want you to count it. We know, the system knows it's being given at 6 a.m. It won't let you change it because this is tied to the medication administration. And I want to start counting it today, so I have to have something before 6, and I'm going to save it. So now there will be an as administered count scheduled whenever I give the Zyrtec. If I needed to have a witness as an example, I could say, in addition, I want this counted at 6:01 a.m. or 5:59 a.m. or whatever. And so now I would have a witness for that as administered count. If I wanted to, I could have done this all at once. If I wanted counted at the end of a shift and at the beginning of a shift, I can do that and save that schedule. So daily, oops, and I want to count in use. Let's try that again, 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. as an example. Okay, and perhaps I want to chart it, maybe I'm keeping track of overstock and I want to count my overstock items at 8 p.m. every Tuesday. I don't want to count in use, I want to count overstock. So I'm going to save that. So as administered, in use right after I give it, before or at the end of a shift, at the beginning of a shift, I can have as many of these as I want. That's the whole point here. Okay, so that's setting up and scheduling counts. The next step would be to receive inventory, and that is done on the medication administration page. Only people with the user role that allows them to receive inventory, to adjust inventory, and to run an inventory report or run an inventory report are going to see this link. It's called inventory. You're going to see that my Zyrtec, or what did I just do? There, my Zyrtec, it doesn't show a count at all as far as the administration part. But here's that count in use. That's that extra one at 601. And there's my in use at the end of the shift. And there's my overstock. And there's my in use at the beginning of the next shift. But in order to do these counts, we have to have something there. So I'm going to select the inventory. And there's my Zyrtec with nothing in it because I haven't received any. And I want to, let's say I'm going to receive 120. So I'm going to put in 120 and I'm going to receive it. So I'm going to click receive and it defaults to in use. But if I just want to put 30 in use, the system's going to know that the other 90 need to go to the overstock. I could put in a comment here, little pink pill, if that's what I want to do, and I'll save it. Okay, now I have 120 in stock, 30 in use, 90 in overstock, 120. So I'm going to close this, and we'll come back to this in a minute because we're going to be able to do more things as we go along. So there's my Zyrtec. I'm going to select it to chart it. It knows that I have 30 in there. I'm going to give one. So after I give that dose, I should have 29. And let's just say I mistyped something and I put in 28 by accident. It's going to go chart. I'm going to click chart dose and save count. And it's going to say that it's going to tell me there's an issue. And I can just go, I can either add a note because it really was 28, or I can make it 29. If that medication was refused, this is the drop down that the user is going to use for charting status. And this is where they're going to have to put in their note. It's all going to get populated over here when I save it. But in this case, since I'm just showing you how to use the system, I'm going to leave it as prescribed. Okay, and I'm going to chart the dose and save the count. And it's all done in one piece. Okay. Now, if I have somebody else that needs to count it, remember, was 29 and they counted and it was 29, all they have to do is save the count. This is just a pure medical service, so they've got to do the save records business here, okay? So I've got 2 counts and 1 charting record in right now. Then I can do as many counts as I wish. When I count it here, this is the overstock, right? And when they count it, they'll put that in. If they had a different count, they would save it. When counts are not what the system expects, a notice is sent to the location administrator and to the location nurse if you have them set up on the location master, okay? So I'm just going to save that count because I want to show you what it's going to look like on the inventory. Okay, so next, I'm going to go to the inventory report, or the inventory pop-up. Okay, now this Zyrtec knows that there's 29, there's still 90. Okay, and if I ran an inventory report, I can run it from any date to any date for any client. We're going to do it for Zane just here for right now, so we don't have a whole bunch of records to look at. And you will generate a spreadsheet that's going to show you the client, the user that charted, or saved the record, the medication name, and then the type. It can be receipt, adjustment, chart, count. And the count can be as admin, count in use, that would be a scheduled one, or count overstock. The only transaction that will change the amount that's left in inventory is an adjustment or is a receipt, a charting record, or an adjustment. Otherwise, counts do not change inventory. If a count was not as expected, it would show what the count was and what the variance was. And then it would be up to the administrator to decide what they're going to do about it. Maybe they're going to recount it, and maybe the count was inaccurate, or maybe the count was accurate and there is a destroyed dose. If that's the case, in the case of a destroyed dose, what they're going to do is they're going to use this adjust, okay? And in that case, I would say I want to adjust one additional out of inventory. And the reason would be, so now we're down to 118, there was a destroyed dose. Okay, and then they would save it, and that's what would happen there. If I'm going to move medications from overstock to in use, get rid of this. Like, actually, let's clean this up. There we go. That's about that adjustment. Let's say I'm going to move my inventory. I want to move 30. So I'm going to take 30 out of overstock. So I'm going to go minus 30, and I'm going to move it. I'm going to put in a note, move to in use, and I'm going to save it. Okay. Then I'm going to need to do another one where I'm going to go to in use, and I'm going to say plus 30, and I'm going to say from overstock. I'm going to save it. So you're going to have one transaction that moves it out and one that moves it in. If I show the report again, and my point of going through all of that is that we're going to keep track of every transaction that happens to that medication, whether it's charting, whether it's an adjustment, whether it's a transfer, everything is here, and notes can be added, and we know who did it, when they did it, what time they did it, and what happened, okay? At any point in time, there is also an option to use verify. And at that point in time, you can, to use verify, select all the medications if that's what you wish to do. Or you could say, I will verify all of these except for this one. I have an issue on it and I'm not sure why that count is wrong. And you're going to click verify. At that point, when you run an inventory report, and you could just say, hey, I just want to do verification records. That's where you're going to, these are, I just said, I just wanted, maybe I didn't ask for that, but here are the verification records. And that means that on this date, at this time, Mary confirms that these counts and these transactions on this report are accurate. No, I didn't. So I need to say that I just want verify. No, I'm getting this count here, but that's how the verify should work. I should not be seeing this record. So we'll get that moved. So all we have is verify. So that is a quick overview on how to set up inventory for items. If once you start setting up this inventory for your clients, you're going to start seeing, oops, I went too quick. Low means that you're low, and if you go there, if you go to the medication, you'll have to receive inventory on that medication to make this low go away because it's below the threshold, or you can move the threshold to be lower. Count means that a count was scheduled, but there is no count record. So you're going to start seeing those. Okay. So, and then if there is a variance, that's a VAR in the count, and that's going to send a message to the secure channel message and a message to the administrator and the nurse that the count was incorrect. And here's a count variance showing that being incorrect. So we want the administrative people to know about wrong counts immediately. So I hope this helps, and please contact us if you have questions about inventory, and there is a detailed user guide also in the knowledge base.